Incredible, I like it. I'm unstoppable, I love it. It's undeniable. I see it, I want it, I get it. I want it, I get it.
I cannot get enough of that. That is like my favorite, most favorite brand thing we ever done. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited to be here. This is a weird time for us to join a stream, right? On a Wednesday, 3 p.m. Pacific. Holla at all of you European people who are here late just so you can hang out. You're not going to regret it. Welcome. I'm Andrea Griffiths, a la Colombia Dev. I am so excited because we have a super special guest today. I'm going to bring him right on up. And we're doing this extraordinary thing out of a conversation. Ari, because you are the real one. Ari was like, what can we do so that we get more people to know what certifications are, what skills are? And here we are. Welcome, Ari. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Andrea. I appreciate it.
I am so excited because first of all, we're going to talk about something that's very relevant because everyone needs to have their certifications in order, where you're looking for a job or you just want to like level up in your job, prove what you know. These things matter, whether we like it or not. So it's good to have those tools. I know a lot of you have had unofficial community-led study groups where people have actually been creating these groups, Ari, to like do their own study group time. Our community did one a few weeks ago, and there were a ton of folks that joined up, and they actually did a giveaway as well. I think the giveaway, I can't remember how many, but today Ari is coming with gifts. So we're actually going to be later on giving away some certification codes so that people can use these vouchers to not have to pay to take the exam.
Yep, special giveaway. So stay tuned through the whole episode.
Yes, because we're going to, basically you just hang out here with us. We're going to show you some things. Ari's going to demo our learning platform and some of the new things that have joined the Microsoft Learn platform, I believe. And then we're going to go from there. So Ari, first of all, welcome. Could you tell me a little bit about what it is that you do at GitHub? And for the folks who are just new to Microsoft, new to GitHub and GitHub education and certifications, just a bit of context as to what your role is and what is it that you do for us there.
Sure. My name's Ari Livigni. I'm a learning evangelist. I'm on the ACE team at GitHub, and I came from expert services. So I've worked with customers, I've worked with partners, and it's what I'm excited about is bringing our platform, our products, and in a great way of teach them how to learn them in kind of meet them where they are. Everyone learns differently. Everyone has a different way of absorbing content, and we're trying to aim to meet people where they are, whether it's on our GitHub Skills, maybe it's Microsoft modules. So I'm super excited about bringing that to our community and to all the developers out there as well.
Yes, this is so good. I didn't know you came from professional services. That's cool. Yeah. That's good to know. You've seen both sides of like and for folks who might not know what professional services, would you mind telling us?
So we are dealing with customers on helping them implement our products in their environment. Or we're also doing trainings on our different product platforms, and that includes hackathons and workshops. So it spans everything from how do I implement this in my enterprise and my organization to how does this work? Can you do a hackathon for our developers and our community and our company, and give us some tricks and tips of how to guide us that way?
Very cool. So you were doing that before, and now you're doing it at a massive scale because you're actually helping not just customers, but all our users, right? Like everyone.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you, Ari. Ari, are you based in the US?
Yes, I'm in Massachusetts, actually.
Okay, awesome. All right, we have a lot of folks that are joining in from everywhere, and I think I love to hear where people are. Yeah, like Fayan say, there's like so many different time zones. It's true. Like the GitHub community is from
We're
everywhere.
reaching everyone.
I know. So I'd love for folks to let us know where they're joining from in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and quickly address a couple of the questions. Is this going to be recorded? It is being recorded right now. So if you have to hop off, you can come back and watch it in our official YouTube and just take a look at it. But one thing I would say, if you can stay, because once Ari gives us the incredible gift of either the free voucher or the discounted voucher, I feel like those are going to go pretty quickly. So you want to hang out here for that. I'm afraid if you're watching this as a replay, the codes might all be gone by now. So hang out if you can. There was one other question about who can take the certification exam. So if you are a GitHub user, that means that you can be GitHub certified. So you just need to have a GitHub account. And Ari, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's 100% right. All you need is a GitHub handle. I'll walk through too. We have study guides and as well as the Microsoft modules, the Learn modules that will kind of instruct you of how to get ready for the exam. And the study guides have everything broken down in different domains and what the percentages are. And I'll walk through that when I go through the presentation.
Amazing. Okay, let's go ahead and bring your presentation up because I
Great.
think there is a lot to cover. There's folks from the Czech Republic. Wow, from India. Welcome. From Belize, from Brazil. Hola.
Welcome,
So
everybody.
excited. From Amsterdam. This is the most diverse audience we had in a long time. This might be a good time for us to have lives.
Apparently it is. It's popular.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said, my name's Ari Livigni. I'm a learning evangelist at GitHub. I'm going to talk about our new GitHub Learn platform that's coming out in the 1st of July. We spent a lot of time on it and also integrating it into Microsoft Learn as much as possible. So if you have any Microsoft Learn credentials, you can also get to them through GitHub Learn as well. So we're integrating those two platforms together. We have learning paths for you to use. However you may want to learn, these are the things listed here, for example, are all the things that would prep you for exams. And you can actually click on them and it would then take you to a full GitHub Foundation set of Microsoft modules then to guide you through. There are some workshops in those as well. So it's very hands-on, but obviously a lot of documentation and things to read or information to read in there. But let's say you wanted to learn in a different way and you wanted to maybe do maybe you want to do LinkedIn Learning, you could get a list of those and just have a different selection of how you want to approach your learning journey. Whether it's YouTube videos, we don't have any up there right now. This is obviously in a staging state right now. But if there's any modules, they would be listed, learning paths, etc. And then we also will have our certifications built in here as well that we can get to. I will show you or put the link in for where our certifications are today, but as of July 1st, we will be moving them to the GitHub Learn platform, as well as integrating with this Pearson view system, just like Microsoft Learn uses today for their certifications. So it'll be on one unified platform instead of being PSI and Pearson. So that also will help simplify things for folks and our learners out there. And as far as skills, which I'm going to get into later, this is great hands-on of like, I'm my first day at GitHub. Like how do I get into this? How do I start using it? Intro to GitHub, GitHub pages, my first week, or maybe I'm really interested in Copilot. Everyone's interested in Copilot. Let's be honest. So we have some courses that are there and I'm going to walk through these so you can see how great it is to kind of learn GitHub within GitHub, learn about GitHub within GitHub, which is great. Using actions, any code security or repo management. So we have several courses. We also did a revamp of some of them and migrated them to this issue-based learning. So a lot of choices here on the Learn by Doing in GitHub Learn. So look forward to that coming out in the 1st of July. And then going on to our certifications, you can get to our certifications page here. I will put the link in
Let's share
chat.
this link. Yeah. So even though there are some things that are going to migrate in, you're sort of like consolidating everything under one place, but you can start accessing that like now, like this is now live, right? Like,
Yes,
so when I share
yes.
this
This
link,
is
excellent.
that link will obviously, it's a nice shortened link for you, but it will take you to the resources GitHub.com Learn certification site. And here you can go through the registration process. But what I wanted to highlight on this page in particular, and we'll have this on GitHub Learn as well, is that you can go to the different exams here. I will also point out our GitHub Foundations is a open book, unproctored exam. So even if everyone's a little bit nervous sometimes about taking certifications and not sure, and like Andrea mentioned, people do study groups to get prepared for them. This one is unproctored, so you can kind of study and have stuff available to you. It's almost sort of kind of open bookish. But if you go to, like, let's take actions, for example, if you go to this, you'll get a link to what are the Microsoft modules, like I just showed before, the ones that will prepare you for the exam right on Microsoft Learn.
Okay.
And we have each of the exams listed here with those links for the Microsoft Learn learning paths for those. And as we get to the bottom, you can also go to each study guide for these as well. We also plan in the near future, I don't know if it will be about the time when we launch GitHub Learn, but we plan to have some practice exams for folks. So this way you can kind of test your knowledge besides the Microsoft modules and doing the self-assessments in those. You will also have some practice exams that will give you some idea with questions. So if we were to come to, let's say, GitHub Copilot, it brings up a nice little PDF that tells you a breakdown of the different objective domains that will be covered, whether it's responsible AI is like 7%, but GitHub Copilot plans and features is a higher rate. So then maybe to concentrate more on that domain than versus another. And it just gives you a little more idea to prepare and the breakdown for each of those certifications.
Okay. And folks, one thing I want to also make sure I add here my 2 cents on studying for this. I work here. I had to study. Like, there's a lot of things that you would think, you would sort of assume that this is assumed knowledge because I use this every day for work. But no, definitely before you do schedule the exam date so that you will have your end goal, but be sure to review, use these resources, use this content to make sure that you show up with your most up-to-date and fresh knowledge, because it's a bit complex.
I will second what Andrea said. I also work here, and I studied before actually at university. I took the Copilot exam. It was pretty fresh. It had just come out, and I wanted to take it, and I did have to study. And I'll say the one thing too is it makes it all encompassing, like stuff that you take for granted, or maybe you thought you knew what the answer was. It really gives you a well-rounded knowledge of the entire product base for that certification. So I highly recommend doing the Learn modules and then preparing and then scheduling your exam. I think also it's always good to schedule the exam to know that it's coming up so you can prepare and study instead of putting it off. That's what I found is better as well.
Aren't you looking at me? If I don't like that procrastination, like I feel thin by that comment. Yeah, I have to have the date, or I just say I'll start and then
we all do it. We're all guilty of it. Trust me, I do it as well. So I highly recommend going here. And I don't know, should we go to well, let me. I don't know if there's any questions about specific exams that we want to answer, or anyone has any. I'm happy to answer those. So we'll pause for a second in case some people have anything about those.
Excellent. Let's take a quick look through the chat, and then go ahead and save that short URL. That's where you can find all the resources. And I'm going to just take a quick scroll there. I'm going to go back. Welcome, folks from Argentina. Welcome. Yes, to answer again, you can rewatch this tomorrow. Peculiar, you are going through the GitHub certification prep skill track. Awesome. Well,
nice. Great to hear that.
Stick around so you can have your voucher, so you don't have to pay for it. Exciting. Ritu, you are a star. 333 in India. What? Let's see. Wow. And then there was another question. just about the age limit. Yeah, humanity. There is no age limit. Again, if you are a GitHub user, have a GitHub account, then you can take a GitHub certification.
Absolutely. And let me also add the Microsoft Learn modules. They are free. They're available to you. You can use your GitHub handle to access them. There is no charge for those.
Exactly. So let's take a quick step back before we dig into the different actual certifications that you can take. And especially, Ari, I think this is great because you work with professional services. So you've seen this more like on the enterprise side of things. Like, why does this matter? Like, why if I'm a developer and I don't know, maybe I'm even mid to late career, should I even care about getting this certification? Like, what have you seen industry-wise? And I feel like they're at the tide is turning where it's becoming sort of like, well, yeah, you have to have the certification by GitHub. But what have you seen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it holds a lot of weight within the field in your career, especially if maybe you already have certifications in one area. This kind of helps balance out in the development side of things. I would say it's good to be well-rounded and put that out there to say I'm certified, so I'm kind of an expert to talk about this. I have a comprehension and a knowledge of the different GitHub products that I'm able to answer any questions or actually implement any solutions based on taking these certifications. I think it holds a lot of weight sharing with your peers. I know with some of my peers being in expert services, there's always a competition of, do I have more certifications than you? Do I have all the Azure or GitHub certifications? I know a previous life I was at AWS, so I got certifications there as well. I think it just makes you a well-rounded developer and engineer. And it is good reference to, like I said, it really is comprehensive in learning the different parts of our product that prepares you for the real world. And that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Okay, so it matters. It matters, and that's why we're here, right? Okay, there was a question about the passing scores, and I think we can start digging into the details of each certification. So what you see on the screen right now is the 5 certifications that are currently available, right? That's not to say that there won't be more in the future, but this is what's currently available, and this is what there are training resources for. What is the passing scores for all of them? Isn't it 75%? Is it 75% or 80%?
I think it actually might. Yeah, I thought it was 65 actually, but maybe it is 75.
I think it's 75.
75. I think you're right. I think it is 75. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say if the foundations is also 75, but I know the other ones are 75.
Okay, awesome. So for sure, it's 75. One cool thing after you take the exam is that it does, although it will not tell you, and this might have changed since I taken the certification, although it will not tell you which exam questions you got wrong, you do have a breakdown of the areas. Is that right? Like
yes,
where your score, how it was, I guess, computed based on your answers.
So if we were to write it, so basically what it's going to give you is a breakdown of in each of the domains of the questions that were asked in those domains and what percentage you hit in those domains. So it does, like you said, it doesn't tell you like you got question 3 and 4 right and 5 wrong, but it gives you the percentage for those domains. So at least it gives you that knowledge back to you.
Exactly. So there was a friend earlier in the chat who's taken one of them and didn't quite achieve the percentage needed. So hopefully you took a screenshot of that. And I think that might even come on the email that you get after you take the test.
Yes. Through PSI, you'll get, you have a record of that. So you can look that up as well afterwards. Excellent.
There was another question about whether or not there was a practice assessment for each exam.
There's no, like I said, practice exams are coming within each of the, like for example, in each of these Microsoft Learn modules, there are questions in those to use as well. Okay. Questions that you can answer. Obviously, they're not as comprehensive. That's why we're working to getting some practice exams out there, like I know other certifications have, so you can prepare even more so and kind of test your knowledge against it.
Okay, excellent. I know there's a couple of like unofficial projects out there that have had like
actually,
quizzes. Please don't pay for this. If you see one of those that's like, oh, you gotta pay to, don't go there. Okay. Don't do that. Like, this is not intended to be a, like, I know there is obviously a lot of people started to build an education business are preparing for the certification. So you don't have to do that. There is more than enough material in the Learn modules and what's coming up for you to
Yes.
prepare.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, there's, I would say if you go through the Learn modules and you focus on the domains, it definitely, you should do well preparing that way. I would say also taking some of our GitHub skills will also help you just get familiar with learning GitHub within GitHub and taking those to utilize them for an exam. For example, if you're taking the Copilot exam, taking some of those skills courses will help prepare you as well. So I that's another avenue to look at, to take as well.
All right, excellent. Okay, and then there was a quick question earlier on Francis. And Francis, thank you for being here. About, are these certifications only for software developers, right, or engineers only? And Francis is a technical writer. Have you seen some of us taking the certifications? I
Yes.
don't have data, but I would think it's relevant. Even
Yes.
the just the foundation ones.
Exactly. I was just going to say that the foundations one, I would start there. And we see a lot of folks taking foundations. I would say probably our second popular one is Copilot, but that's no surprise. But I would say for anyone that's in the field related to technical or using GitHub, Foundations is a great certification to get and put on your LinkedIn. You also, after you complete your certification, you get a Credly badge. As you can see here, this is kind of what they look like, that you can post on your LinkedIn and share with your peers and kind of promote yourself there and for your career. So as a technical writer, yes, as Thomas says, we're trying to reach 1 billion developers, and that's in all shapes and sizes of technical writers, program managers, project managers. So I think this applies to everyone.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, thank you so much for touching on that. And thank you, Francis, for the question. Quick question about, we'll get into logistics of actually scheduling the exam as well, because I think people want to know how that works. There is a question about the type of exam that you're going to be able to take with the vouchers that you are so generously going to be gifting us later. So you can use that voucher towards which of the certifications, Ari?
You can use that voucher for any of the exams. The ones that are free, obviously you get any exam free. You will get the foundation exam by itself is cheaper than the other ones. With no voucher, it's like $49.99 for the foundations and then $99.99. In fact, if I was to walk through registering here at the top, this is what you would get. You would come to learn more, and then you can sign up to schedule the exam. Again, you have links to the learning path, the Microsoft Learn modules, and then also to the study guides as well. There's also LinkedIn Learning path. You can also do LinkedIn Learning as well. That's out there for these different certifications. But I believe that's paid, whereas the Microsoft Learn is free. But this is how you would go to sign into schedule. You would click that, and you would go in, and it'll tell you what it's measuring, and then you can come down to start to the different learning paths. And just keep in mind too, as it's saying here, PSI after June 30th. That's why the vouchers we're giving are so important, because you want to schedule your exam. You want to schedule your exam before the end of tonight. So 11:59 tonight, that's when those vouchers expire. So make sure you register. You can schedule. You don't have to obviously take the exam the next day, but you have up until June 30th to take the exams.
Oh, this is a moment of action, friends. Procrastination, be darned. Like, you're going to commit to it today. You're going to set up. So I could make my exam date June 30th, right?
Yeah.
But nothing beyond that. Okay, excellent. And so the prices for each exam, Alfred, I guess they're all the same except for the foundations one, I believe is the one that you said is a little bit less. And then you can access the certification exams anytime you want. As far as the scheduling of the dates, and thank you, Viva, for being here. And the question, it's a calendar. And so you could take them in person at one of the proctored texting sites, correct?
Yeah.
Are you please
Yes.
correct me if I'm
Except for foundations. Yeah. You can take foundations from your home anywhere. Yeah.
from your home, or you can, are you still able to do Proctor online for the
Yes.
other ones?
Yes.
Okay.
For all the other ones, you can proctor at a you can go to a location and be proctored, or proctored online, where they kind of look at your environment, make sure you don't have any notes open, and do it right in the comfort of your home.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's how I taken the exams before, and it's pretty, I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty intense. Like, they do check your desk area and make sure you don't have any second computers. You can't really like speak out into the hall. I don't know what they thought. I had like a GitHub expert standing outside my door answering questions, but I read out loud. That's how I process things. So I was reading out loud the questions, and they stopped me. They stopped the exam, and they were like, "You can't read the questions out loud." I'm like, okay, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It didn't happen to me. I know someone, I'm not going to name them, but they have a very cluttered desk, and they had to really clean out their desk before they were allowed to proceed with their exam, because they just had too much stuff surrounding the area.
I love it. All the secrets were spread. All the answers were spread.
Sticky notes everywhere. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So you go in, you register, you just follow the link. You're going to be given this link again. And then to apply the code that we are going to be giving away later, there's going to be an option there for you to enter the sort of like I don't know what's the verbiage. Is it voucher code, promotional
Yeah,
code?
it's a voucher code, and I'll tell you like certain gotchas of make sure where you're putting it in, that it's not like it's not an invitation code. So if you see that, that's not the place to put it. It's really at the end when you go to check out. It's the very last thing, and make sure that's in capital, that the code's capitalized with the letters that are provided. And
Okay.
yeah, we can. I don't know if we're ready.
Well,
Ready?
let's
Or-
answer a couple of questions first, and then because I do want to I
Okay.
want you to take us for a spin on the skills and all that, because I think those
Sure.
are so valuable, and we haven't talked about that enough. So, but let me quickly answer to some questions. Is the course suits for someone who doesn't have prior knowledge? So I would not go in it relying 100% on the study tracks and all this other information. Like, this is something that it really depends. I guess for foundations, sure, because everything is kind of very fundamental. But if you're gonna take like the actions or security, you need a bit more than fundamentals for those. So the study guides are great, and all the other resources, and I'm so happy that everything's gonna be now under one umbrella and integrated with the Learn platform, which is great. But definitely, I wouldn't go from like never having to do anything with security features in GitHub to all of a sudden taking the security certification. Like, you're just gonna set yourself up. So take the time to study. Let's see. Can we take the exam for free? You can if you hang out and get the code in a minute.
Yeah.
Do we need specific technical questions about architectures for the action certification? So Alfred, I would think to do would be to go through those modules, because I'm sure that's covered. This is one that I've not taken, so I couldn't answer that. I don't know, Ari, if you have any more context about that in specific.
Yeah. So obviously this is the Microsoft Learning Path for the GitHub Actions cert. But if we look at the study guide, you can see where the bulk of your time is going to be spent. Also, we do update these certifications. We're actually in the process of finishing up a revamp of the admin exam. So I would say probably take the exam sooner rather than later, because there's going to be newer questions. They may be very different. The domains may be adjusted a bit. So these percentages may not be the same when we update these exams. But as you can see, like the bulk of them on authoring and maintaining workflows, because as a GitHub engineer and using actions, you're going to have to do that if you're using actions on a day in, day out basis.
For sure.
Workflows. And in here too, right, you have the Microsoft Learning Paths here again, and then you have the LinkedIn Learning as well. Each of the domains here are broken down. So it's not just a high level author and maintain, the 40%, but you can see all of the subdomains that are under each one. So configuring the workflows, running them, scheduled events, manual events, triggers. So all of that is going to come into play in that sort of domain. The same holds true here for using the components of a workflow, composite actions. So I highly recommend going through this and maybe even just checking off and saying, okay, this area, this domain, I know I got down cold. I don't have to worry about it. Where do I have to study? Where do I have to spend my time on to prepare for the exam the most? And I think that's why these study guides are so important and key to your success.
Amazing. Okay. So there was a question earlier, and I want to make sure we cover this also. As someone who's always late sometimes because time zones are difficult, the deadline is June 30th at whatever your time zone is, or is there a specific time? Yes, as long as I schedule my exam by June 30th, right? That's one thing, to take the exam
Yes.
itself. But then
Yes.
to actually schedule that, is the deadline tonight?
To use these for the vouchers, both vouchers, you have to schedule them by 11:59 in your time zone tonight. Yeah.
Tonight.
11:59.
Okay.
Yes.
Ooh, Ari, is there any way we could extend that a bit? Because I feel like we have some folks that are joining like from over outside of America who might be, it might be 11 something their time. So is it, like it's getting
Oh,
there.
I see. You know what? I can double check. I think it actually may be probably it's 11:59 Eastern time, I would think, because
Okay.
yeah, let me double check that, but I think that might be the case.
Okay, cool. So if it's 11 Eastern, you still have almost 4 hours. So don't stress about it. But if it's not, or 5 hours. But if it's not, we will include, yes, UTC information. That's terrific. We will find out before
We'll find
the
out.
stream is over. So
I
will make sure.
asked our certification expert, Alicia. She's awesome. So she'll get back to me with an answer, I'm sure.
Amazing, amazing. As to which one, all right, this is a great question. And thank you for being here, Carlos. A few months ago, you had to take the foundations one before you could take any others. Does this change? Or am I able to take them now in any order I want?
There's no prerequisite to take the foundations versus the others. You should be able to take any exam you like.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah,
All
actually,
right.
I know that's a fact because I actually took the actions one before I took foundation. So I definitely know that.
Okay, excellent. And it looks like someone is actually taking a look at eligibility for, oh, someone posted, yeah, you have between 6:05 and 6:30 to schedule the exam. Okay, that's good. So we're gonna get that for you. Don't worry. We're not gonna say hang out and then you don't have time or the time has passed for you to schedule the exam. That's not the point. We want you to have the resource and be able to schedule it. So do not stress out about that. Okay, Ari, let's see. Any other questions about the exam taken itself? I'm not seeing anything on the chat now. Oh, this is a good question, actually. And thank you for being here, Eduardo. Are they intended to evaluate decision-making skills using a best answer model where one answer is more correct? Are there trick questions in these exams? That's such a good question. That is a very good question. What would you say, Ari? What's your experience with the ones that you've taken?
I wouldn't say that there are trick questions. I would say some of the questions where you have multiple to choose from, like it may say like choose 2, choose 3. That's where you really have to kind of, know those top 3, those top 2. Usually if there's a multiple choice, there's no trick there. That one answer is very clear. We try to gear it so like we're not trying to trick you. That's not the point. The point is to have you learn the knowledge of our products.
All right. Excellent. Okay. I think we're caught up on the chat. So let's do it. You want to go for it? Or is there anything else you want to share before? But then also,
so I did get an answer on that. It actually is 11:59 Pacific time. So you have an extra time, which is even better. So we love that.
All right. Excellent. So June 4th, 11:59 Pacific. I'm going to quickly ask my friend Google here to figure out what that is on the UTC because I have no idea.
That's why we have AI, right?
I mean, seriously. And I will post that on the chat.
Awesome.
Okay, excellent. Let's see. And then I think we're ready then. But what else are you going to be showing us after? I think we do have time to go through like one of the walkthroughs that we discussed earlier.
Yeah, I'm going to do a walkthrough of one of our GitHub skills, kind of talk about what it is. And you know, what I love about it is that it's all inside the GitHub platform, and it's open source, it's issue based. So you're not going out to some other system to learn how to use GitHub. It's right there for you. So yeah, I'll do a walkthrough of one of our exercises. I'll do a little, I'm probably going to age myself here. I'm going to do a little Julia Child where I walk through it, and then at the end we have the ready-made cake all ready to go at the end. But so I can show you exactly what the end result of the GitHub skills looks like.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, good. Okay, so with that in mind, I am going to bring up, and hey, if you are like amazing at time zones and this sounds like a lie to you, please check me, because I'm just relying on World Time Buddy. Shout out to the free project. But if I have it correct, it would be June 5th at where did we go? Universal time at 3:59 a.m. So that is your deadline in UTC. 3:59 a.m.
Thank you.
If you're amazing with time zones and this is a lie, please check me, because I am not sure myself. Sweet. Okay. All right. Great. Peculiar almost broke their screen screaming. Don't break your screen, Peculiar. Is there a beginner's model for action? Thank you, Susie, for being here. I think if you go onto this link where you're going to have the entry point to all the certifications, all the resources are going to be there. One thing that I think also, don't misjudge the power of you actually getting in there and setting things up for yourself and kind of playing with your own repos. I think that's one of the best ways for you to prepare as well.
Yeah, and inside the Microsoft Learn modules, there are little mini workshops where we'll have you do some of those inside of your own repository and use those as examples. So you'll get some hands-on as well, besides the GitHub skills that I'm going to show.
Beautiful. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Ari.
Cool. I
think we're ready. All right, friends.
All right.
Get your
ready.
Screenshot ready. Get your pieces of paper. This is how this works. There's going to be a code on the screen. That code has a certain allocation number or allotted number of people, of slots available for it to be used. Good grief, I can't speak. So once that number is exhausted, then it will say it's not working anymore. This is why it's so important that you grab this right now and then promptly go in. And again, you have until June 30th to schedule it. So if you want to find a proctor in time for June 30th at 11:59 that night, go for it. But you want to make sure that you schedule this by June 5th at 3:59 a.m. So if you're watching this on a replay and it's after June 5th, 3:59 a.m. UTC, I'm sorry, you'll have to come back. Maybe we'll see if this amazing generosity of the certifications, folks. Maybe after we can do it. But for now, this is what we have. So go for it, Ari.
Awesome. So here is the code, the voucher code XFE. I can paste this into.
Yeah, let's drop it in the chat so that we can.
There's the code.
Excellent. And so remember the site where you're gonna go in and schedule, and you have to authenticate with the account, obviously, your GitHub username. You're logging in with GitHub. Excellent. And then let's see. We're gonna give folks a moment to grab that code. And then meanwhile, I'm gonna address a question. And thank you, Mr. Bash, for the question. I can see on view the Copilot is 59 plus that is view price connected to country like MS certification exams. So I'm not 100% sure.
No.
Let me put this question on the screen so you can help me out, because I'm not sure the view. You might be looking at a different certification.
So this is probably that might be just is that a GitHub Copilot or a Microsoft Copilot?
It might be a Microsoft Copilot. I think that's probably what the this connector is, because this will be, and of course you can take the Microsoft Copilot certifications as well. They're offered by Microsoft, but we are covering GitHub certifications only right now, and that will be for the GitHub Copilot certification. I think the price of that one is $99.
That's right. Yep. Everything is $99.99 except for Foundations was about half of that price, $49.99.
Yeah, excellent. So for all the other Microsoft certifications, I mean, they have their own pricing. And from time to time, if you don't follow the folks at the reactors, they do sometimes they host special events where they actually help folks and give out some vouchers.
Yep.
Okay, beautiful. Pandanaya question: how many people can use that? I don't know. Surprise, surprise. Try and use it now. Let's hope it's still working.
so for this voucher code, the first 100 that get it in to schedule their exam, you are the lucky 100 people.
Excellent. Excellent. And because the certifications team's generosity is never ending and overflowing, you actually have another little surprise for us at the end. So if you watch until the end and you didn't catch this completely free, you also have another present for us, Ari, right?
Yes, that's right. We do at the very end. So stay tuned.
Okay, excellent. We got success. Mr. Venkata, code apply, get 100% discount. Excellent.
All right, congratulations. Good luck.
I love it. Okay, where exactly on GitHub is the page that you're looking at now? Miss Mary, this is a slideshow. Well, let's see. Maybe the certifications one. Let's go back to this one, perhaps. And I'll go ahead and post that short URL once again on the chat. What's the link to the certification? So if you use this short URL, gh.io/GitHub certs, that's going to take us where, Ari? To this main page.
Right to the page that I have up right here, right now.
Okay.
It should, let me, pretty sure. Yep. Takes us right to resources.github.com/learn/certifications.
Excellent. Okay. I'm going to paste that code one more time in the chat. For the folks who are in LinkedIn, be patient with me because I have to literally come to you. I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
En route.
I'm en route. It's going to take me a moment to get there, but I'm going to go ahead and paste it in the chat there because I can't share it directly from the production. Beautiful. It works. Awesome. I'm glad you grabbed it. So friends, go ahead and schedule. You can stay here with us and keep watching, but make sure you're applying that code right now and making that commitment to yourself that you're going to take this exam. I cannot wait. We should do another stream in, like, I guess after June 30th, Ari, and see. Let's do our alumni from this stream.
That's
all
right.
of you certifiable people. And then I don't have as many amazing goodies as you do, but I have a box. I'll go dig through my box and we'll give away some swag, and let's give a prize to folks who are actually taking the time to.
Maybe send some plushies out.
Yes, we'll do that. Beautiful. Okay, so let's see. Enrique, awesome. Hello from Mexico. So excited that everyone is already getting it. And Mr. Vach came back with the answer. So this is for the countryside changed to 59 USD. So I wonder, and because there are some folks who are GitHub users who have sort of a different classification. I know that the campus experts, they get a discounted one. It might be more than one, Ari. I'm not 100% clear. And so there might be, if you're a different type of user, if you belong to either campus experts, and I think there might be another thing for open source folks that I'm not 100% sure. Regardless, apply the code, that will be 100%. So
yeah, and I think too, if you're on Pearson View, that code's not going to work there. You're going to follow this to the PSI, which is a different exam certification interface. So that also may be why I think what might be happening there too. Okay,
excellent. So take us through that flow real quick so that we see. So click on register here, scroll down to the one you want to do.
Take exam.
Take exam.
I'm going to go schedule, put there's all my information. And then schedule, then you'll go to schedule, require special accommodations. I've read.
Excellent. Okay. So It looks like, I think because you're an employee, unless you're logged in under a different account,
No,
it's
I'm
a
in
little bit
log.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we are able to get it as employees. We can take so that might be why it looks a bit different. But if you click on, I think you might be able to click on finish scheduling, and it kind of brings up what that scheduling deal is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
this is
excellent.
where you want to end up and see PSI. You don't want to see Pearson view. So if you're seeing that, you're probably in the wrong place.
Yes.
So just follow the guide where you're at. Oh, good work. Thanks. And then you should just follow everything here. Let's see. Available test schedule.
Excellent.
New
And this is a
booking.
global thing, because I remember seeing there were times like 2 a.m. my time zone, I could have taken the test. I think they got proctors everywhere.
Right. Yep. There's actually, so it's funny. There's a PSI testing site, like literally I could walk there right now.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
It's that close. So, but like I said, in the slide too, I'll just jump back to that real quick. Don't put that code here. That's not where you want to put the code. After you register and you come here, continue to booking, follow all of the booking all along the way. And when you get to the review and pay, that's where you're going to put that code in that we so graciously put here in the chat.
Excellent. Okay. So friends, keep that in mind so that you're sure you're scheduling in the spot that you're meant to be.
And as you can see, you can do online or you can find your test center.
Exactly. And I don't know, I guess that's a matter of preference, really. I know that during our conferences, you also have an opportunity to be certified. So if you take 1 or 2 of this, and then you're going to come see us at GitHub Universe, are we doing that again this year where we have like the live certifications?
Yeah, we will have live certs there again. Maybe we'll have vouchers handed out. I don't know, could be. But yeah, we will definitely have, just like we did the last 2. At least I know the last universe, we did have a testing center there.
Fantastic. Okay, great. So folks that are already on it, they are booking. Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Welcome,
And
Carlos.
like just so proud of everyone that's making that commitment to themselves right now that they're gonna do this. Everyone is gonna pass. I have faith. Amazing. Okay. All right. Show us the goods. What else do we have?
Yeah, so I'm going to walk through some GitHub skills. We have skills for beginners, from like very basic learning GitHub for the first time, like I said, first day, first week, all the way through the cool new GitHub Copilot, agent mode, coding agent, MCP. And that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to show right here. I have up GitHub Pages. So this is a very beginner's course. If you just want to learn how to create your own blog or your own, and that technical writer that gave us that question, is it for everyone? This is for everyone. Like people want to know, can I put my own website together, my own blog? You can do that through GitHub Pages, and this skills course will show you how to do that. The one that I want to highlight, it was actually the kind of the person that drives GitHub Skills and is so passionate about it, Chris Blake. He's amazing, Christopher Blake. He worked on this skills exercise, and this really highlights the big announcements we had at Microsoft Build about coding agent, and it walks through that.
Oh, excellent. So this is very current then. Very
current. This literally was dropped as soon as it was announced in the keynote. Chris released this publicly so that everyone could take advantage of it.
Oh, Ari, would you pass me that link so I can post it directly on the chat here? I have not myself taken this. This is really cool.
Yeah.
So skills are basically, these are like self-paced workshops in a way, or how would you describe a skill?
Yeah, so I would say they're issue-based, self-paced, and what that means is you basically are going to copy it to your, and I'll demo that. You're going to copy it to your GitHub handle or an organization of your choosing from the template that's in skills in that org of that repository, and then you'll step through in an issue, and it will be, there's Mona actions running in the background that will keep updating you and guiding you if you're doing things correctly, or if you made some mistakes. Here's some tips or troubleshooting tips to do to get around that. And it guides you all the way until you get to the very end. In the future, we plan, just like with certifications or other things, and I know we want to do this, is give some achievements out, like maybe it's a icon or special things like that once you pass a skill. So that's something that will be coming in the future.
Very cool.
Probably in the summer time frame. I could see that happening. We're working on it currently. But it's all open source. It's there for you to use. I think the other cool thing is you can do any of these in under 60 minutes. So let's say you have a nice, some of these are faster than others, but let's say you have a free half hour and you just want to kind of go into a skill and learn a new GitHub feature. Why not? So that's what I think is the other advantage of this. And you can always come back to it at the end and look at what you did in that repository. You can keep it, save it. You could blow it away and restart all over again and do it again if you wanted to, do it from scratch. You have that ability. We also, a lot of these skills courses, some of them don't, but a lot also will give you a code space to use. So the full development environment is there already in the browser or in the code space for you. So you don't have to have all of the tools and cool things installed. We're installing them for you in a code space.
I mean, it's super easy to kick it off with having the code space already set up. So I love that. Would you show us a bit of how I
Yeah,
wanna...
let me just make this a little bit bigger.
Congratulations, Arya. Everybody's booking their exams. I'm so proud of all of you.
Yeah, everybody's using that code. They're going to be gone in no time.
Amazing. All right. So this is the new one, right? The one that was published and
Yes.
built.
Yeah, and I would say the other thing Christopher is really great at is he's really good at building the storyline. All of our GitHub Skills courses have a great intro of like, who is this for? Who is this targeted at? What you'll learn in this, what you're going to build. It also gives some prerequisites that you might want to take before, like this is a more maybe intermediate one. So you probably want to take the getting started with Copilot first before you get here. You don't have to, but it's obviously recommended to do that, especially if you don't know GitHub, you probably want to take the intro to GitHub. And then it just talks to you about enabling the coding agent, assigning the issue, collaborating with the agent as you're working on a PR and reviewing what the agent is doing. And we start out with this little like copy exercise. And what this is going to do for us is, and I'm going to right click on it and open it that way, but you could just click on it and it would basically do this. Obviously, I already have one created with that name. So by default, it's going to come up with your GitHub handle from the repository template. It's going to give it a name and put preempt skills on the front end of that. And it's going to give a description. You can change that. Obviously, I already have one with that name. So I'm going to add dev here. So then I know that name for that repo is open. I'm going to leave it public. And then I'm going to go create the repository. And in the background now, as this repository is creating, an action's running to basically set up everything for you to really, and by setting up, what I mean is it's really creating the issue that's going to be the guide through each of the steps and activities as you go. And so you'll see this looks exactly as the same, but you can see like, here's my GitHub handle at the top. And if I do a refresh though, it looks completely different now. Because now what it's telling me is now I'm ready to go to the exercise and start it. And by clicking this, I'm in my first issue, and you're always in one issue that's going to guide you through this, but it gives you a nice little summary again of the steps that you'll follow. And then you can get into the steps. It has a nice little storyline about our Mergington High School. So the theme of a lot of especially our Copilot ones, is we've made this fictitious high school and we're working on some projects, whether you're a gym teacher, IT person for the school, assistant administrator. We try to take these different roles of what people might be in a school and how they can leverage our GitHub products and our platform.
Such a good point to those who are watching this and maybe are like, well, this is not, like I don't write code every single day, but like there is opportunity for you to learn on regardless of what your role is. This is so cool. Okay, so I have basically, it's like the issue's like my tutor or my, I don't know, like my TA. It's like talking me through what I need to do. Exactly. Yeah, Mona's there to help you along the way. It's going to give you a nice description. It also, we try to, like I know in our MCP, want to integrate with MCP, we have some nice diagrams that kind of show like what is this doing? Like what is this product doing? So as a contributor, I'm in the issue here. I'm going to create an issue. I'm going to assign it to Copilot.
It's going to go forth and create the PR. We're going to have a little feedback back and forth with the coding agent. And it's a nice little diagram to just show you how all of that works. And then I know a lot of people ask about Copilot, is it safe? So there's some pointers here about that and configuring your firewall and things like that. There's also some optional stuff if you wanted to, drop down. And if you wanted to use the code space, we could spin that up. For this skills exercise, you're not required. That's why it's optional. There are, like, integrated with MCP does require a code space. So that wouldn't be optional. And it would be something like this where it shows you to open up a code space. And just to show what that looks like, it would basically offer me then to create myself a code space for my repository. And then I could start working in that development environment. If you are using VS Code today, this looks exactly the same for anyone using it. It just has all the tools or services installed or set up, or maybe you're launching an application. So all of that is already set up for you. So you don't have to spend time worrying about that part. And I think that's what's key to using our skills exercises.
Excellent. So you would recommend people start using the code spaces, at least for the ones that is like required, just kick it off from there.
Yeah. I mean, even the ones that are not, like, there's no reason why you couldn't. And here, I can bring that up too. Let me create one. Even if you're not, like, maybe you want to explore more in the IDE and do some development locally. Let me just make this a little bit quite kind of small here. There we go. And then once it's done building and setting up, you have a fully fledged development environment to then tackle this this exercise. So I definitely think it helps enable us. So, like, we're not worried about someone doesn't have this or that installed on their machine. We know that they're getting the same consistent development environment that we're using to create it, that they're getting to then take the exercise themselves.
Amazing.
Oh, nice. Another schedule. Sweet.
Amazing. Okay. There was a question earlier. I want to make sure we touched on it.
Sure.
Was there a specific order in which you should take the exams? And thank you for the question. I think it was Carlos who asked it earlier.
Sure.
And I think the answer is no, right? Like,
there's no order. I would say if you're not comfortable, or you want to, you're not you want to learn more about Git and GitHub, you probably want to study for the foundations and do that one first. I think when it comes to the other exams, it doesn't really matter. I think you can just study for those. You also probably want to look at, do I really want to know more about actions and get more depth there? So I want to study for that one. Or I'm an IT administrator and I want to know how to admin GitHub correctly, whether it's from on-prem or in the cloud. That's where that exam really comes in handy. So yes, you can take them with any order you want. Like I said, I took the foundations one after I took the actions one. So yeah, there's nothing preventing you from doing that.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Congratulations to everyone who's been booking the exams. That is awesome. Okay. So let's continue with the walkthrough of skills.
So yeah, there's Chris's picture there. So you can see here, like, it's telling you to set this up. What I typically do when I do these is I usually open up another window. You could put it side by side if that's easier for you. And at this point, it's telling me I need to go to my settings. And then I need to make sure that I have the Copilot agent turned on. I have it for all repositories, but you could turn it on for specific ones if you like, and select them. That's no problem. Obviously, I have mine set to all of them. And if we go back down, so we have that set. The first activity it's telling me is it wants me to create an issue to assign to the coding agent. So I can copy this. I'll go back to I'll go to the issues. I'll open up a new issue. I'll put the title in here. I'll come back, and then you obviously can add more here if you like. I would say our evaluation of what you do here isn't on. It has to be exactly what's in this issue. We want to try it to be close, and obviously the objective is to get close to that. But you may want to add some more details so the coding agent knows has a lot more information to work with, or a lot more context to work with. And in this case, then we would just assign it to Copilot.
And this is magic, y'all. I don't know. Maybe folks here haven't seen the GitHub Copilot coding agent. We have to do
Oh,
like
yeah.
a intro.
I don't know why let me just make sure there we go. Yeah, I assume, yeah, I guess we take it for granted because it got released like over a week
Yes.
ago, like that. Everyone knows what this is, but this is like magic to me. Like the coding aid is marvelous. What we've done here. And so what it's going to do is, while you're kind of open here, this is the issue that we started with. It's leading us down the path, and these are the steps that I took. In the background, Mona's action is looking and it says, oh, you created this issue, and you put the title in. So now you're ready to go to the next step. And if I do a refresh or I just wait, it's going to now tell you what the next step is. And you're going to keep going down this path. It's not going to let you go on without doing the right things. And if you do get into a state of like, I didn't check in the right stuff, or I didn't do a commit, or I'm on the wrong branch, it is going to give you that information, give you some troubleshooting tips along the way to guide you. And as you can see, our coding agent is hard at work. And if we were to open up that pull request, we can see the work that our coding agent is doing. This is just awesome, like that you can go view what your coding agent is doing and working on. So we have this session open, and we can see that it's viewing the repository, and it's hard at work viewing the source, viewing the repository, viewing the source. And this is the feature. This is in our skill exercises, but we're just highlighting of how you can use it and implement it.
Very cool. Very cool. So for those of you who's not familiar with the GitHub Copilot coding agent, this is you doing things that are maybe less interesting, boring, tedious, repetitive task. Backlog, so good for that, right? All these things that you keep putting off. Now you can do what Ari just demonstrated, open up an issue, assign it to Copilot, and off you go to work on the fun, creative challenges while GitHub Copilot coding agent is taking care of all that other stuff for you.
Yeah.
So amazing new feature. This is a good skill for you to try it out.
Yeah, and you, right, like, who wants to go through all the files on our repository and replace names or do things like the tedious, as Andrew just said? We can just say, here, Copilot agent, here, go have at it and make these changes for me. Obviously, it's not going to check them in for you. You're going to have the final say before they get merged.
Yes.
But it gives you an opportunity for the coding agent to do the work and you to be the reviewer, just like you would have a peer work on something and you're reviewing their code. It works exactly the same.
Absolutely. So you are always in control. You are always in control of what actually gets incorporated in your projects, but this is going to give you sort of like that mega head start on getting all of those tasks that you've been sort of postponing later. I've used it for so many random things. It's just amazing. And so far, it's been really good. And also you have the ability to iterate, right? So you can interact with the coding agent as it's coming up now, because it's created a pull request doesn't mean it's final. You can still continue to do adjustments until you feel like, okay, yeah. we're aligned and this is what I needed to do.
And actually in this skills exercise, besides opening this up, part of the next step, I believe, is to then collaborate. So this is showing the same things that I just showed you, but adding a comment in the code that the coding agents produce, and then having it iterate again. Like Andrea just said, you're going to iterate again and make some changes. So please change this description to be inspired by Japanese manga. It needs more personality to attract students. So then the coding agent will go out, make those, again, more changes to the code that it already generated, and look for your cue if it meets the mark or does it need to iterate again.
Amazing. And you can do that as many times as you want to get it to be what you want it to be. But it's actually very intuitive, though. I find that if you give a clear instruction with that initial, whatever it was, the title of the issue, like that issue didn't even have a ton of body on it, and it did a good job. So
yeah,
cool.
It is amazing to me, like how little context sometimes you need. Like I try to provide more, and it's like it just, like, even sometimes I just put like maybe I'm a little lazy and I put one sentence and it'll come back with like all of this stuff. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Like it sometimes gives me ideas that I didn't think of, which is pretty awesome that we have that feature now.
Yeah. And of course you can use this today if you have a GitHub Copilot license. Like,
that's right.
You can use it. Perfect.
And hopefully we have still working. So I guess I don't know if we want to hop to maybe showing what like a finished exercise looks
Yeah,
like.
let's take a look at what it does. But I mean, you
Sure.
can see the flow of time though, like this. How long did it take you to go through it the first time you went through it, Ari? Like for this specific skill?
For this specific skill, I would say 30 minutes. I think was
Okay.
what, like around 30 minutes, maybe a little bit over, a little bit under, like ballpark 30 minutes was what it took me. It did not take me a full hour for sure.
Excellent. Okay, so there you go. Like Ari mentioned earlier during your lunchtime, or if you have like that 30 minutes to spare,
Yeah.
go in there and poke about.
I would say the bulk in this one is probably waiting for the coding agent to do the changes that you want. So that's
Mhm.
probably why you're waiting as well. But when all said and done, this is one that, so I finished this, and when you're done with the exercise, it closes the issue. But you can go back. So now, like this is one that I finished. So if I go to the front of my my code in my repository, it says congratulations. It tells you passed. This is where we probably will be doing some achievements in the future, giving links to those. And then you see how it says Mona won't grade this time, but that's our idea. Like maybe we'll get to grading as well in certain circumstances and certain skills exercises. We also plan to develop some really advanced ones where it's not so hardened on like you need to produce X, Y, and Z, but it gives
Yeah.
you a little bit of freedom and creativity maybe to do some things. And long as you meet a very simple check, you've met the mark there, and you've built a full application. So we do have another one, like a building an application with Copilot using the coding agent that I did with building a full multi-tier application. And that's another example of one that's a little bit more advanced. But if we were in here, we'd say congratulations. Return to the exercise will take you back to that issue.
Okay.
And you can just see all of the things that I did along the way, like I just showed. So it has the same directions. Here's the issue. I succeeded in doing that step. This is the collaborative one where we're adding another comment to the pull request and having the agent go again and iterate. And once that's complete, we actually can prepare the Copilot environment by setting up some Copilot instructions. So it walks through that, which is another feature of custom instructions for Copilot, which is pretty awesome.
And y'all, it makes such a big difference. Like, don't skip this. You can even use Copilot to create its own instructions, bare meta.
Yes,
But it
I've
makes a
done
big
it.
difference for your coding style, for whatever you have very specific thoughts about type safety or whatever it is. You can tell Copilot to start coding like that. You just got to add that file to what you're working on.
Yeah, it will live under the .github in your repository. It doesn't have to be in one file. You could actually, I believe, link files from the Copilot instructions.md file, markdown file. And then once you do that, here's the setup you can actually set up the environment prepare the coding environment for Copilot by creating this workflow here.
Mhm.
So I think Christopher did a really great job of being thorough in what you can do in every aspect of using the coding agent to your advantage here, creating this action. And then at the end too, which each one of these, you'll probably get when you like pass this one, you'll get some indication of what you did. You created the instructions, you set up the YAML file for the workflow. So if I was to go to my repository now, once I've completed this, I would have in the GitHub directory, I'll have those custom instructions
Mhm.
that I wanted here. Actually, sorry, that's the example. These are the ones that I create. So we provide an example of what they look like and what you can take from that. And then this is what I put in for my instructions. For my workflows, I made the setup steps, and I took what was in there and put this to set up the Copilot development environment. You can also see a peek behind the curtain that shows you all the steps that Mona does, the actions that run. So if you wanted to nerd out a little bit and dig into those, you can do that as
I
well.
love that. I love that. Ari, one thing we haven't mentioned is how you can actually create your own. Is that something we're still doing, that you can still do that within the Skills platform? I know there is like the guide.
So we do have it's currently being renamed. It's going to be Exercise Manager. we have a toolkit. So I can, I can show that briefly too.
That'd be great, because this is, listen, you can use it for anything. So not just for GitHub related studying or skilling up, but for anything. And then maybe you actually create one that's going to help you study for one of these tests that's not covered and what the existing skills are. So
yeah, this is private right now. We haven't released it yet, but the idea is this will allow you to you could create your own exercises. It doesn't have to be, you know, exactly related to what we're doing with skills, but you could create your own. And Alec on our team, whose picture is there, Fidelis Alexander, he created an exercise toolkit. Oops, wrong one. There we go. This is the toolkit that has all of the reusable workflows, starting, finding an exercise, the markdown templates. I believe we also have, let me just make sure we have that too, the template. I thought we had this here. Yeah, there we go. I'll bring this over as well.
thank you.
We also have a template. Here, I'll bring it up here. This is a great template to kind of start your exercise. So the same things that you were seeing for our exercise, it has some of those boilerplate things in there for you to start to create your own if you wanted to.
So this is the most within GitHub, to learn GitHub, to skill up on GitHub, and then you can also create your own exercise to skill up on.
That's why we say learning about GitHub within GitHub, because we're using all of the goodness that GitHub has to offer to create these exercises and to use them. So I'll paste that in there.
Excellent.
Put this in here too.
And shout out to Alec. That is great. I'm going to share that link here. We had a question earlier in the chat, and thank you, Hayden, for being here. How many exams can I book with the code? The code that we shared earlier? One, that's correct?
Yeah. Well, I would actually, I don't know the answer. I think maybe if you got in and got one of those, like you're one of those lucky 100, you're able to get multiple, you might have been able to book multiple, but I assume if your name was already tagged with one, it probably wouldn't, but I don't know. I can find out the answer to that.
Yeah, we can find out. But if you use it once to book that 100% off, and as we're coming to the end of the stream, I think we can share the next goodie that you have for us. So for folks that maybe are watching this a little bit later and miss the opportunity to book 100% off, Ari generously has brought us another code that is going to give you a deep discount. So if you missed the full discounted one, screenshot this, give it to your friends, and let's upload it as well. Thank you. And so it's the same thing, same process. You're going to go through the booking platform, just same as Artie demonstrated earlier. The only difference is that this code is for a shared cost. It's not for a fully comped.
Yeah. So your cost for everything but foundations will be $35, and the foundations will be $17, which some places what a cup of coffee costs.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So Charles tried it and it won't let you do a second one. But guess what, Charles? You can probably book it with one of these discounted ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sounds like it's one per.
Thanks for the feedback though.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback. And yeah, I think so. I think they're on limit on a discount. So you should be able to use those for multiple, I believe, or at least there's not just 100 of them out there. So you can, everyone can take advantage of these discounts. I mean, we're giving you the opportunity to take them because you have till the 30th. And obviously, as we move to the new system, we're giving these out now so you can take advantage of it.
Amazing. Okay, so what about this code? This one, I still have that same time frame, right? I need to take the test by
exactly the same time frame. Okay. Yes. So you got to book it by the 3:59 a.m. UTC for June 4th. And you have up until the 30th to take the exam.
Okay, excellent. So if you miss an opportunity to book it, if you're watching this a little later and you're trying the 100% discount and it's not working, use this one. Yeah. Use this one. So at least you get a discounted rate for you to book and take the test. And then, yeah, that's amazing. Ari, thank you so much. What else can you show us? I feel like we went through skills. There was a question earlier in the chat. Suppose we're asking about the specific time. I'm going to type it again. And again, if I'm lying, check me. But it's June 5th, 3:59 a.m. UTC. That's the deadline. So
Yes.
if you're watching this before June 5th at 3:59 a.m., you're still within time to use either the 100% off if it's still there,
You still have a chance to win.
or this discounted, exactly, or the discounted one. Ari, anything else that you want to make sure that we keep? And sorry about this. I've taken like way more time. I was like, yeah, we'll do it like in 40 minutes, like an hour and 20 minutes later. Sorry.
No, this is great.
I'm long-winded. People are used to it, though. Thank you for being here.
Oh, no, I love it. I mean, I love showing off our GitHub skills, especially. I'm happy to give the information on the certifications. I think getting certifications in general is important. I think you learn a lot more by going through each of the Microsoft Learn modules. Use the skills also for some of the hands-on. So doing GitHub Actions and learning the ins and outs of reusable workflows or composite actions, the gamut, you'll really get that experience. And then you can implement it in your daily job, whatever you're doing. Maybe you need to put a blog together. So you need to learn how to use GitHub Pages, and you can be able to do that. Or you're preparing for your cert and you want to know how Git works or GitHub works in general. You're taking the foundations exam. I think it's great. I think there's a lot of ways to learn here. We have Microsoft Learn. We have the LinkedIn Learning. We have a lot of different options for people to meet them where they're at. Everyone learns differently. I know that. Some people are more visual. So I know I am. So if we can give you the tools to do that and the learning paths to do that, that's what we're here for. That's what we want to provide.
Absolutely. Okay, let's touch on this question, because I think this is something that as you're watching this, maybe you caught it in a little bit later, maybe you're watching the replay. Where can I find resources for the exam? And I think if I go back, if you can take us back, here we go. Into the actual, it's the same entry point.
Yep.
Excellent.
So that the short link that we posted, the GitHub certs, if you go there, you have access to everything. Just come down, go to the exam that you're interested in. And obviously you can look at all of them. But if we were to look for for foundations, for example, it'll give you a link to the Microsoft Learn modules to know the ins and outs of using GitHub Copilot with Python, all the way from introduction to GitHub Copilot, introduction to GitHub. If you take these, you definitely will be ready for foundations. If you're interested in the actual study guides and the domains and the percentages, just come down to the bottom here and you can go download study guide. It brings up a nice PDF where it's pretty lengthy, but it's really comprehensive and telling you, like at the top level, it shows you the high level domains and the different percentages. And then it helps you dig into each one of the subdomains underneath those. So example, domain 2, these are the things that you want to know about and focus on. Maybe all of working with GitHub repositories. You're like, I don't need that. I want to learn collaboration features or one of the other subdomains. This allows you to know which areas you need to focus on. And I think what also is great is the percentage of that topic, that domain that's going to be on the exam. So maybe you want to spend a little bit more time on collaboration features because it's 30% of the exam. So that may be something you want to, when you're studying, that you want to take into account.
Excellent. So take a look. So it's the same entry point, friends, where all the resources are.
Yep.
Take a look at that. Someone actually mentioned in the chat earlier, you don't have to buy a study guide. You don't have to, there is more than enough resources that are both here in the Microsoft Learn platform. I know LinkedIn Learning has got a price unless you pay for premium, I believe. But the Microsoft Learn platform is not. It's 100% free. All the resources that you're going to see that are linked here are going to be free. So don't pay for it. Please use the resources that are there. And then, friends, take advantage of being here. If you are here, you're posting on the chat, start your little study group.
There you go.
There might be a few people here that are ready to take the leap with you. They booked the exam for June 30th and they want to, Maybe you meet once, twice, and you can go online and just do the skill exercises together. It's always nice to have sort of like
Study buddies.
a study buddy. Exactly. So talk amongst yourselves on the chat and
Yeah.
accomplish that. That is amazing, Ari. I am so excited for what's coming
Yes.
because this is such an incredible resource for everyone. And again, if you've been coding since the 70s and you're looking at this and you're thinking, I don't need to do this, like, what is the point? You'll be surprised as to how, when you're trying to learn, especially to test, how
Yeah.
much more you actually grasp information, and then you're keeping up with tools. This
Yeah.
skills exercise, shout out to Chris, created it. Amazing for Coding Agent. I had not seen it. I want to go through it myself.
Yeah.
Make sure
please
that I'm
do.
using the GitHub Copilot Coding Agent to the best of my ability. So it's a great resource regardless whether you're training for the exam or not.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Well, Ari, I think that's it. I have shared in the chat the discounted codes and the 100% off code. I'm going to put it on the screen here one more time. That's your 100% off. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. Maybe it's still available, maybe not. If you missed it, take advantage of the discounted one. If you use the 100% code one for one of your tests, use the discounted one for one of the other ones. Why not? And then
Oh,
you're
yeah.
making double the commitment to yourself that you're going to have 2 GitHub certifications come June 30th.
Yep. Exactly.
Amazing. 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 Ari, anything else that you want to leave us with?
No, I mean, just stay tuned for the GitHub Learn platform, and we are going to launch that at the beginning of July. As you can see, if you're already used to using, like, you've taken Microsoft certifications and you've done the Microsoft Learn modules, we're very integrated, as you can tell from the certifications we have. And our idea is we want to bring those two together. Obviously, our own GitHub Learn branding, but use the same. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Microsoft has a great foundation for those, for the learning platform and for certifications. So we're trying to just piggyback on that. But again, as I showed in the GitHub Learn here, we have a lot of different learning paths. Oops.
I'm excited. That's looking so good. Like,
Yeah.
that's gonna be so great.
Like, we have these Wilco where we can take like secure code base. It's a nice little, actually a chat way to learn. Very
Nice.
basic, very simple and quick too. And then, like, yeah, we also have our GitHub Skills listed here where I showed you. So this will be the new home of GitHub Skills. If you did want to go to see all the GitHub Skills today, you could go here. I'll paste that in the chat. Just one
Excellent.
final link. So if you wanted to see, like, I want to start from, I don't know anything about GitHub. You're welcome. Thank you, GitHub. But I don't know anything about GitHub, I want to start, what's my first day? And we plan to build this out with other themes. As you mentioned earlier, Andrea, we do have these certifications, but we probably will get into a point where we'll have different levels of certifications for different topics. I could see that happening down the road as well.
Absolutely. But listen, folks, how old are their certifications now? This is like what, coming on 2 years?
Almost, yeah, actually probably over. I think it's probably close to almost, by universe, I think it might be 3.
Yeah, yeah. I've been super surprised because, of course, we have, obviously, as a developer tools platform, a lot of partners and companies that are our partners. And it's incredible the rate of adoption, how this is becoming de facto. You need to be GitHub certified to work on X, Y, or Z. So it's a good opportunity for you, regardless if you're not looking for a job. It's another notch, another jewel on your crown. So
or maybe you're moonlighting and you want to do some coding on the side and you want to show I'm GitHub certified to that person as a contractor. Who knows, right?
Exactly. Thank you, Ari, so much. It's so great to spend some time with you. I appreciate you taking the time to come by, and massive shout out to the GitHub Certifications team. I loved your team. I got to meet some of your team at Build, and let me tell you, the vibes are immaculate. These folks care about you. They want to make sure you have what you need to be a professional in this field and prove your certifications. And they're doing a lot of incredible work. There is so much more to come. We'll have to have you back, Ari, once the site actually launches, so that we can take it for a spin. Folks, there is people in the chat who are asking, hey, when are you taking the test? Will you talk amongst yourself, create your study groups, take advantage of this opportunity. Thank you all so much for being here. Ari, thank you so much. This was so fun.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Take care, everyone. Good luck.
Bye. I am so excited. Carlos Quintero, you're the top student here. You were able to pass 4 exams last summer, and now you just have the 5th one. I hope you took advantage of the code and you're not paying for it. Amazing. Thank you, everyone. Please help yourselves in the chat if someone is asking for something that I missed. I appreciate a ping on it. It's been great to be here with you today for this very special edition of a GitHub transmission. I felt like it was like my birthday, like giving away stuff. So great, my favorite. If you take the exam, any exam by June 30th, add us, at Ari or myself. Sorry, Ari, I did it to you now. Let me know that you passed. I want to go dig in my box of things and see what I can send you, because it's not easy to make the time to do these things, but it's so important. I appreciate you being here and doing it with us. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time. I gotta do it again. I know this is like the song of the summer and the video of the summer for me. I'm gonna leave you with GitHub Copilot Coding Agent, so you take a look again at how you could have basically a peer engineer working on all those boring things while you work on creative and also more challenging tasks. So I'm going to leave you with this video. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you Friday for Open Source Friday. We're having a double Open Source Friday day. We had to postpone the Super Base one last week due to an illness, but we'll be back here at 10 a.m. Eastern to accommodate some of the overseas time zones. And then my colleague Kadesha will be at 1 p.m. Eastern with an open source company that's working on technology for doctors and things. It looks really, really interesting. So we hope to see you here. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Catch you next time.
Incredible. I like it. I'm unstoppable. I love it. It's undeniable. I see it. I want it. I get it.